On this week's episode, we continue our conversation with the founder of Tirex, Mr. Arth Patel, and take a deeper dive into the world of EV charger manufacturing. But to be an R&D driven company, you need to have a very strong team.
Yes.
As a young company, earlier when you were not funded, how did you attract talent?
So as a young company, so our R&D director, Mr. Upendra Patel, he's the ex-CTO of eInfochip. So eInfochip is an aero electronics company. They have about 1,500 R&D people in place. So he's the ex-CTO from there. So now he has his own company called Glide, which has about, I would say, 80 or 90 R&D engineers already in place. They do embedded work for a lot of multinational companies. They don't work in India. They majorly their work is offshore. So because he was known to us, he was like a family to us, we got him on board. He has been our R&D director from day one. Because I don't have an electrical background. My father has a mechanical background. So doing something in the electrical field required an electrical mind in place. So he had been very influential. A lot of work that we did was done by his company. Now, slowly and gradually, as we grew into a brand as a larger company, we have a strong CTO in place who is ex-ABB, Alstom, etc. We have a strong system architect in place who is 40 years of power electronic experience for defense and everything. Because again, defense and military application has to be very robust, has to be very strong, very reliable. So we have strong guys in place. So these guys then lead the younger team to create a strong and robust product. So as we grew, we got that team in place. We shifted the R&D from the external company to in-house, and now we are slowly and gradually doing things in-house. So that's how we grew from when we were small.
So the core team has to be strong.
Yes, the core team has to be very strong. In my company presentation, if you see, 3 people out of the 5 people that are there shown as the core team, 3 are from R&D. So that itself proves that sales head, yes, obviously he has to be there. But yes, 3 people are R&D.
Product अच्छा
yes,
तो sale हो ही जाएगा.
Product अच्छा है तो obviously people would buy. People would be ready to pay a premium for it, which people are paying for Tirex products.
And how has the government policies been for you as a manufacturer?
As a charger manufacturer, I would say that government is yet to make any policies in terms of production link incentive or something like that. Government might be working on it. They are working. Actually, I had a discussion with someone from policy earlier this week. They are working on something linked to policy linked incentive for charger OEMs. PLI is there for vehicle, other components. Charger is yet to be included, but they are working on it. So till now, there has been no subsidies when it comes to charger manufacturing. When it comes to the operational part of it, so basically our clients who go and create the infrastructure, subsidies and policies have been in place for them. So they get subsidies on the equipment, they get subsidies on getting the land. They have been getting help from the government to acquire the land. Government has been floating public-private partnerships a lot to help them grow, help them create the infrastructure more, and in turn let us sell more chargers at the end of the day. So government has been front-ending that infrastructure part a lot. Manufacturing part is yet to come, but I strongly feel that it would come in a...
So is manufacturing strong today as charging manufacturing strong today? Like, has localization picked up firstly?
Yes, localization has slowly and gradually picked up. Government has now mandated something called a phase manufacturing program for charger OEMs, where if I sell a charger to you, let's say, and you want to avail subsidy on the charger, it has to be compliant to the phase manufacturing program. So they have set up certain timelines in discussion with me and other leading charger OEMs, that these are the timelines that the certain key components can be localized. Right now, a lot of things in charger comes from abroad, be it the gun, be it certain controllers, be it some certain power electronics. China, Korea, Taiwan, Germany, Japan, lot of countries produce them, and it comes from there. But as a country, since we have to become Atmanirbhar at one point, we have to invest in them, and that's what R&D is about. So whatever we have been investing in R&D at the end of the day is to localize the product, because once we localize the product, then and only then we have a good control over it. I can only know something, as I said earlier, that only my engineer can service my charger because we have made that product. So unless I know that, okay, as a company, we know that, okay, this is what has gone inside making it, then only we can identify this is wrong and improve it. If we are only buying from outside and selling it in India, and we don't know if something comes up, we have to go to the actual guy who has made the charger or made the product and then get it changed or get it updated, whatever. So localization has picked up a lot. Government is also enforcing it, and that has helped certain leading OEMs to be better than the other ones of subsidies and everything.
Okay, but how do you see collaborations and standardization of chargers coming up? Because see, as you were telling, कि if you have made a charger, it's only you who can service it. But wouldn't that be a blockhead?
Initially, that would be a block, yes, but it is required to be a block to ensure that consolidation happens. If anyone can go and service, because this is, again, as I said, it's not a normal product. Let's take car for an example. Again, car, EV, not EV, even a petrol engine is a very complicated vehicle in terms of mechanical. It has engines and control and everything. Now, up to a certain extent, only your standard garage can do some sort of servicing. Still, also, you have to send your car back to, let's say, Tata Motors or Hyundai or Mahindra to do some servicing, software update or anything. No, your standard garage people won't be able. They can change the wheel, yes. They can change your headlight.
Basic denting, painting can be done.
Denting, painting they can do, but they cannot update the software of the vehicle. That only the OEM can do. Similarly, charger is also a very complicated product. So servicing, updates and everything has to come from the OEM. Else, if you open it to everyone else, then it would cause problems. It would lack. It would create issues about standardization, as you say, because we are dealing with very high current. It may cause safety hazard as well unless it comes from the OEM. So as the industry grows, certain parts of the charger would be start servicing by other people. Let's say if someone wants to change the gun, going forward 2 years down the line, I see that yes, people would be able to change the gun. If you want to, let's say, change the MCB, yes, but if you want to change the power module, yes, you come to me, you come to the OEM. If you want to update the software, you come to us. That's how the industry will grow, just like the auto industry has gone. Okay. In terms of standardization, India as a country has not mandated any charging standard, but the Indian industry has picked up CCS2 as the charging standard. You see, all the vehicles coming out, 4-wheelers at least coming out, are on CCS platform. All the Tatas, all the Mahindras, all the Mercedes and Porsches and Audis of the world, they are all on the CCS platform. So Indian industry as general has adopted now CCS as the way forward. Government is still yet to mandate it, but yes, the industry has picked up that this is the way to go.
Also, we talked a lot about charging software. Why do we need a charging software? Like if I have a phone, I just plug in the cable to my phone, it charges.
Yeah.
What is the software thing in this? Like in case of electric vehicles, to be particular.
So because electric vehicles, DC charging is, as I said, a very high powered thing. It's not your phone is hardly 5 volt, 5 ampere, or let's say 10 watt or 5 ampere sort of power. It's not very harmful to anyone. It's not life threatening. But when it comes to DC charging, we're talking about 30 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt worth of power. If you touch it, you will get fried off immediately.
So what is the software doing?
So software has the responsibility to control this charging in terms of, so there are two aspects of software. One is the software which is internal to the charger and the vehicle. So they talk to each other, they ensure the charging is done in a safe way. If the battery of the vehicle gets heating up, the demand from the vehicle slows down. It says that, okay, you give me less power, my battery is heating up. If the ambient temperature is very high and that causes some issue in the vehicle, so it stops the charging to ensure it stays safe. The vehicle does not burn or power flow does not gets leaked off to someone else. So this safety aspect of it is ensured by the control which happens between the charger and the vehicle. Second aspect is the charger and the server, because at the end of the day, if someone is putting a charger somewhere, he's not doing it for public service. He has to earn something out of it, right? It is a service he's giving to the public, so he has to get money for it. So how do a person earns from it? Because in petrol pump, traditionally you say 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees or 500 rupees petrol you fill. The person sitting there, he fills the petrol and he goes up. Now because it's a 5-minute transaction, you can afford to have a person there. But charging, as I said earlier, is like a 40-minute transaction or a 30-minute transaction. You cannot have a person standing there, for 30 minutes looking at your face and okay, or kya chal raha hai? You've got conversation with the guy. So people have to do it majorly on their own, just like European countries also have been doing, the Americans and all the parts of the world. Charging happens, person goes, he plugs it, and then they go off to their work. You may plug your car in a mall and then you go to shop or watch a movie, have food or something. So the billing part of it comes from this software, and the monitoring part of it, that okay, how many units have you as a user who has gone to a charging station have consumed, what is the rate per unit, how you want to get billed, how you want to pay for it. So all that digital part of payment and metering part of it, that comes from the charger and server software. And earlier, as I said, charger and car software, it ensures the safety and the operational part of it.
Okay. Also, have you experimented with V2G technology?
We personally have not, but we have a group company called Indra. They are based out of UK. They have done about 4,000. They have installed about 4,000 V2G chargers in UK, and we are we are front ending one trial with IIT Bombay as well.
Okay.
Where we are doing that V2G technology trials with a car to ensure how it works, to learn what effect it has on the grid and everything. So they as a company, I don't know much, but what they as a company, what they have shared and they have learned is that India has a long way to go in terms of V2G still.
Okay.
Because V2G is not always just the charger side, the car also has to support. The newly launched Tata Nexon supports V2G.
Yes.
I mean, up to some extent. It supports from Tata vehicle to Tata vehicle, but it cannot send it back to the grid. Other cars are still not there. Even in Europe, if you see, only a few cars are there which support the V2G technology. Not every car supports. So firstly, it has the car to support it. Secondly, after the car supports it, the charger also has to support. Right now, because when the power comes from the car, it is a DC power. So when you have to convert DC to AC, you need to have a bi-directional converter in charger. Right now, all the converters in place are unidirectional. They can convert the grid AC power to a DC power and send it to the car. But when it's coming from the car, it has to be reverse converted as well. So there has to be a bi-directional converter in place, which is not there in India right now. So both the things have to support. And even after both things support, there has to be a lot of regulations from the grid as well. That okay, if you are sending back the power, what is the quality of the power you are sending back? For example, India runs on a 50 hertz frequency of a grid. If you even have a 51 hertz current flowing back, it causes massive failure in the grid. There are many issues that arise out of it. Or even if it's 49, it causes massive issues. So there has to be strong regulations in place to ensure that someone is not feeding back bad power in the place. So the entire ecosystem has to be put together for V2G, not just the car or charger, or the whole policy framework, the whole experimentation of it, that what is the power quality going back, how will it be used, how will it be built. If I'm sending my energy from my car to the grid back, can I just use it for my house, or can I sell it for a certain money? Just like solar, 10 years ago solar was growing and there was no net metering or something like that. So government was confused, people were confused that if I'm producing solar, how would I earn money out? Now there are laws in place that okay, you have your net metering in place, that okay, you use 100 units, you have produced 105 units, so we give you money for 5. You use 100, you have produced 95, we charge you for the 5. So that all that net metering and all evolved over the period of time. The same way V2G also, in the span of I would say 4 or 5 years in India, evolve from every perspective, car perspective, charger perspective, software perspective, regulation perspective, to ensure that it can work the way it is intended to.
Okay. And also, how do you see things evolving in the coming 5 years? What are the things might change, because the solid state batteries are coming up, charging is getting faster.
Yes.
So what are the changes that you see?
So there are many changes in the industry happening. I would say last week I was in Delhi giving a talk, and I had the same point of discussion, that what is next for the charging and e-mobility industry in general. So yes, batteries, lot of new innovation in batteries is happening. People are evolving the batteries more and more to ensure longer range. I was reading one day where a US company has made a battery which is mix of 2 different types of chemistries. Traditionally, a battery is only one chemistry of, let's say, LFP or NMC. Only one thing is there. They have made a mix, because when a vehicle starts, the power demand is different. The torque requires more to start a moving vehicle, and when it is running on a road, the power demand is different. So when it starts, they draw the power from a different chemistry, and when it's running they draw the power from a different chemistry. So that has given them, I would say 20-30% what they have written in their report, that has given them 20-30% more range compared to the same size of battery. So a lot of innovations going on there. Second, that from battery front, so new, longer extended ranges would come. We have already reached, I would say, 900 kilometers worth of range. Mercedes has already proved, I think, 1,200 kilometers worth of range.
Yes.
I think EQ Vision 1, something like that, was a vehicle they drove from Germany all the way to UK without charging. So very good. I mean, you cannot get 1,200 kilometer range in a petrol car as well. So that range terms, lot of leaps and bounds are happening. Same way, charging is also evolving. Europe and every other countries have reached to megawatt charging scale, even 400 kilowatt, 500 kilowatt worth of charging. So that essentially means that you can charge your car in 10 minutes. So again, what we started off with thinking that, okay, petrol pump and chargers are different, we might not be in that same mindset 4 years down the line. If you can charge your car in 5-10 minutes, then again, it's the same story. You go, you plug it in, or a person plugs it in for you. You stand there for 5 minutes and you're good to go. So lots of things are evolving on the charging front. In India particularly, if you see, lots of things are now evolving on the user experience part of it. So till now, the industry was, okay, charger lagao, you put charger here and there, etc. Now people have actually started realizing that, okay, because me as a consumer has to interact with the charger, it has to be user experience centric. It has to be good for us to interact. You can't just, go and see a damaged screen and anything. It has to be, the user experience has to be better from an app point of view as well. People like ease of paying. People don't want to try 10 different payment gateways and the payment fails. They want ease of payment. They want ease of charging. So the user experience is now being focused on. People are doing new things. We are innovating. We are integrating some sort of AI at that service level as well, and at the user level as well, that if someone is facing certain issues, on the display only they can get options to select that, okay, I am facing, let's say my connector is stuck, what do I do? My voltage is showing this much, what do I do? This color is showing in my car, what do I do? So such sort of user experience improving factors are also now being worked on. The design of the chargers are now also being worked on. Till date, charger has been only like a dabba sitting there
on the wall.
Yeah, on the wall or on the ground. Now people are looking at better looking chargers, because if you have a charger in your house, guest is entering, he sees the charger, and it has to be good looking. It is like an piece of art hanging there from a home perspective, and even on a public highway or anything, better the looking charger, the better it attracts people. So that entire user experience is now also evolving in India. People are experiencing that.
But also, if the power output from the chargers is increasing,
yes, exactly. So
won't it be a problem for battery health? Because see, today people buying cars don't think about the battery health so much, but 5 years down the line, the battery will be deteriorated to what, 60 or 75%. You'll not have the range.
Yes.
So wouldn't faster charger deteriorate the battery?
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, as in current state, if you keep charging your car by fast charging again and again, it reduces the battery life, yes. But because the battery are also evolving, people are investing heavily on the battery front. This is also something that is being worked on. They are working on to ensure that the battery can accept higher power before deteriorating at the same level. So just like charger is also growing to have higher capacity charging, battery is also growing to accept that higher power without damaging the battery health. And at the end of the day, OEMs also suggest that if you do 4 fast charging cycles, you ensure that 1 slow charging cycle is also done, which anyway, in my opinion, people would do.
Yeah, they're charging at home.
Charging at home or your office, people would anyway, out of 4 or 5 fast charging cycles, they would do 1 slow charging. So that would reset all the electrodes in the battery and ensure that electrons in the battery, and ensure that the health stays optimal.
So I don't know, one thing I notice is a lot of the blockages in the EV industry in terms of adoption are mental. People think that range is going to be a problem, when in real world they're only traveling 80 kilometers a day.
Yes, true.
Okay, and people think that faster charging will deteriorate my battery, but you're hardly doing it once a week.
It doesn't make sense. So yes, lot of things is also psychological, as you correctly pointed out. Me personally, I've been driving an EV for the last 4 years. I have never charged at a public station. Never. I have a charger at my house. The car gives me a 350 kilometer worth of range. My daily traveling is around 60, 70, as you rightly said, 80. Mine is less than that. Mine is less than 80. So I need to charge my car once a week, which I do on, let's say, Friday or Saturday evening. And by the time it's Sunday morning or Saturday morning, I'm good to go.
New car.
I'm good to go with the full battery capacity in place. So yes, lot of people would never even need to go to a public charging station unless they are traveling outside of their daily city limits or some emergency comes up. So yes, it's lot of a mindset. People still want.
People need to be educated.
Yeah, people need to be educated. More options also need to be in place. If I as a consumer go out to buy an affordable electric vehicle right now, I mean right now there are still better options, but let's say even 1 year ago, if I as a consumer go and buy, I only have a few options available to buy.
4 options.
4, yeah, to be precise. I don't want to name, but yes, 3-4 options available. Rest all the options are too much expensive for a common person. Now more and more options are coming in, more and more OEMs are coming with newer models and everything. So that gives the user also the ability to go and experience that, okay, this car is like this car is like this car. It's just like when Ambassador, the very old white looking car was in place, people had no option. They said, okay, only one car, you want to buy Ambassador.
No.
The EV was like that in the early days. Option was not there. So now options will come up, so people will start choosing more based on their use cases, based on their preferences. So that's how the industry will grow. That's how the industry will evolve.
Finally, a few words from what you have learned being in the industry for a person who's aspiring to join the industry as an entrepreneur or as something, anyways, to be a part of the revolution.
I would say the most important fact that I've learned is collaboration. Because this is a very fast growing industry, so without collaboration not a lot of things are possible. For example, certain components in chargers we used to import, but a few companies, a few cable manufacturers collaborated with us to ensure that okay, these things are made and localized. So they helped us. I mean, one OEM can only do certain part. No company in the world has 100% control over their product. No company in the world.
But everyone aims to have vertical integration.
Yes. So everyone wants that, okay, if I'm making this thing and this thing can be used in my product, then I can rely on someone who is expert. If I, let's say, the internal wiring harness, people are there, Polycab and multiple companies are there who are, making cables, KEI cables for many years. They can do it better than I can. I just need to go and tell them my requirement. So that has happened. So collaborations is a very important role to play in the industry. Secondly, because it's a fast growing industry, it is important for people to understand that R&D and development is something that takes time. You cannot just do it overnight. One day you come and say that I want this, and the next day only you change it, which has happened with us. So you cannot expect that turnaround quickly if you want a good product. If you want a crap product, yes. If you want a good product, time has to be invested in making a good product. So that R&D timeline needs to be understood by the people as well. And third and most importantly, from an entrepreneur point of view, because before COVID, the era of funding was different. Post-COVID, the era of funding is very different. Before COVID, even huge loss-making companies were able to raise huge funds. They were able to multi-fold their losses and still be able to grow. That is not the case now. You have multiple instances, I would say. You name it, Paytms, Byju's and all different companies of the world, they are facing challenges to raise funds. And then you have likes of Zerodha and Zoho, which are doing exceptionally well without raising funds because they focused on the core fundamentals of business. I mean, why do you do business? That is the whole question. You do business to make something or do something and earn money out of it. So if your cost of earning that money is higher, then there is no point of doing business. If you're spending 100 rupees to earn 1 rupee, it's no point in doing. At some point, you need to have the track in place. It may be not there at day one. You may not earn money at day one, but 3 years down the line or 4 years down the line, that economics has to be in place. That okay, 4 years down the line, if I have to earn 1 rupee, I would be only spending 20 paisa. Right now, you may be spending 100. It's fine. But 4 years down the line, that roadmap needs to be clear that, okay, this is how I reach a stage where I make money out of it. Okay. So that fundamentals have to be very clear. And someday or another, if one investor might say no to you, but then someone else would agree because your fundamentals are straight. So
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely.
Thank you, sir.